I finally, like, one day, he turned around and kind of was like, look at what you're doing. Look at what you've become, look at who you are. They gagged me, and I kind of saw myself. And I was like, oh God, I am. And I've cut friends out of my life before because of, to certain drugs, but to the point where, like you just don't have that person anymore because drugs consume them. I you look at them in their eyes and you just see black. There's nothing happening. I was becoming that, and I was like, this is a person telling me that I am that. And I was like, that really troubled me. And so that 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 meeting of our and that breakup is what I did for my sobriety. So it's very sad. It's very sad that I had to get to that point, but I wasn't very grateful.
I know a lot of people, they think of themselves going sober, they're like, oh, I was an alcoholic, but now I'm not anymore. You still view yourself as like an alcoholic, whereas so they
absolutely, yeah. I will not touch alcohol. I respect. I take this from my mom. My mom, my mother's mother was an alcoholic, and my mom was so wise, and she says, I stay at alcohol. She my parents are love drinker, and so she's others, right? I take that from what my mom said. I respect alcohol. I understand that it exists, and I understand that it has power over me, and I'm pretty fucking invincible in this life. I sure do, but that is one match that I have met, and so I let it be, and I just don't touch it, and I understand how great the consequences are. So I'm gonna drink this. I cannot. If I'm having one, I'm having all of them.
God, using life is important. It was for me. If life is going to be experience it's maybe that's the only thing that would focus on. As you say, like in your track career, it wasn't hard about it. How was it more about your structure? And what was the part of that? So like you have a show. I had a boxing show recently, and with her, I think a very similar run to her. Now, like we did very well in the competition, we didn't have 83 guns, and she said that when she was in the show, it was really frustrating. But she felt like she did everything correctly, and like still like it wasn't enough. Is that kind of like an experience that you would have to go through yourself in the show as well?
No, I gagged myself.
I did. I had a boxing show recently. With her, I think you had a very similar run to her in that like you did very well in the competition. You really didn't have like any hiccups. And she said that when she was on the show, it was really frustrating because she felt like she did everything correctly and like still like it wasn't enough. Is that kind of like an experience that you would echo for yourself on the show as well?
No, I gagged myself.
You did better than you thought you would.
I thought that my goal was to make it to the top 4. I would have loved to have won, but I didn't really know what that. I didn't really see that for myself at that point, because I was like, I don't know if I even know that much about, and I didn't, about myself to really hone a crown like that. But I did see myself going in the top 4. But in my season, it was different because they shook us right off the bat, and I was a failure in the first episode. That fucking gagged me. But therefore, I had this I had something to prove, and I was therefore inevitably going to be an underdog, and so no, every time that I excelled in something in the show, which was often, like tea, I
just say it is what it is.
It was, I'm good at a lot of shit, but it was I don't know, it felt really good for me. I never felt like there was not something you know what I mean? Like there wasn't a layer that I couldn't peel down. I definitely went in. I was also very fearful and had a skewed perception suddenly of what winning could even be, because I looked so much up to Britta and Jan as my drag sisters. Older than drag. Jan is younger, but in drag, they were just more prevalent than I was in their careers when they went to Drag Race, and it didn't turn out the way that they expected it to. And I was gagged because I fully thought that on season 12, Jim would be in the top 4, and I thought that Brenda Filter was going to win Drag Race. Yeah. And so I was really, really scared of what I didn't know how I would stand, because I felt weaker than them, going into the competition.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like
Maybe that self-deprecation thing is like real.
I think it's a little,
Maybe I like just don't believe in
a little self-deprecation. I also think like no shame, but a little bit of realism because, as you said, like you've been on a drag race. You've been only been doing drag for a couple of years. Like you were like what 2 years,
3 years.
and so you're going on Drag Race. You get people like Tina Burner, who, you know, despite her appearance, is a big name in New York, and you know, Big Jam just came on the show. So yeah, I mean, I just have the mindset of like I'm just happy to be here. Maybe I'll gag myself.
Well, I did gag myself when I lost that first lip sync. I did not expect. I had more confidence than to think I would like go home on the first episode. That fucking shit to me.
For all the Drag Race fans, can you answer the question? Is it true that you and Denali are like boyfriends and in love and kiss and stuff?
No. No, of course not.
Then what was all that for?
That was for. Well, you know what?
What was it for? What was the reason?
When we were there, we were playing into a narrative that was given to us, and also like full T. Like I think, and now like you know, years later, Denali and I are still very very close friends. It shocks me how like we went to like we were in the same like. When we're doing the same gig, even if it could be a lot of girls, we find each other and we just start hanging out. It means a lot to me. Like, yeah, it happened at DragCon, and I was like, girl, we could be hanging out with so many bitches, and we just want to like kick it with each other. That is so cute. But
that's for the storyline. There's this continuity for the fans.
We also kind of like, you know, like Denali's like so my type. So like I think back then too it was kind of like, you know, I did think that she was cute, like, you know, but yeah, it wasn't real. We were both in relationships.
You guys have like a pact, like you're both single by the time you're 40.
No.
No? Okay. No. You gotta feed the audience something. I mean, you know, Rose Nolly is
still... If they book us both for All-Stars in the same season, they will be so fed. By that storyline, we would go so far. Girl, we'd fuck on camera.
Mm-hmm. The extra storyline.
Yes.
The safe word is cut.
I would love if All-Stars called us at the same time. That would be such a...
I'm just trying to help set things up for giving people what they want. That's what the show is all about. We're about giving people what they want.
Okay, most of the time. That's it.
Oh, with that, that's the end of my cards. Last bit of time we have before we have to get you back to Drag Race Live. But before you go, I do want to give you something. As you mentioned earlier, obviously a huge musical fan. Your favorite musical is Hair. So I got you a 1968 vinyl copy of Hair. Vinyl.
That is so nice.
But I was saying, what was it about Hair specifically? Because I think when a lot of people... So I got you a 1968 vinyl copy of Hair on vinyl.
That is so nice.
I was saying, what was it about Hair specifically? Because I think when a lot of people imagine a drag queen that's in theater, they think their favorite play is going to be like Pageant or, you know, some big Liza Minnelli. Why Hair specifically?
No, that's my life. Fuck that shit. This is so nice. Thank you so much. It's really nice. The music and the story, I'm obsessed with the 60s hippie movement. Just the feeling of freedom associated with this piece of art is like so. I also just like it's less of a gag now, but like the fact that like iconically at the end of our like you know, are butt ass naked. It's just there's something about this piece of theater. Again, with the music as well being so incredible, so fun to sing. That just I don't know has always been very freeing for me as an audience member, and as a theater member. But I've never done. I almost did the show once in college, but I didn't do it.
So other than your upcoming role as a Burger in Hair, like what do you have coming out? Like what projects do you have in the works right now? What can we expect from you in the near future and like the slightly further away future?
Well, I'm always working on new music. I actually, I was like,
oh, you're solo.
I was like teasing it last night on Instagram because it's coming out, which I was fucking bored, which is hysterical. But I actually finished my first debut album last year, and then there were complications with it dropping, and so I decided to hold on to it for a bit longer, maybe edit it a little bit, maybe add some more stuff. But there is music coming.
Do you have visuals, or are you still Photoshop?
Both, actually. There is going to be. We've filmed like 90% of it. We did a music video to my last
I feel like I'd be doing the audience a disservice if I didn't ask about that album cover, like you behind the wheel of the car.
How
space to get that photo in.
It's not. It's what if it's. I'm willing to tell it. It's not a photo at all. It's literally an artist rendering of me. It is based on
It's an artist rendering.
yeah. It is not AI. It's produced like AI, and it's definitely an extremely fab depiction of me. But it I liked it. I thought it was like a fantasy. I'm also so. Yeah.
Like Claire saying Claire causing things.
I know, but it was it was
I got was like there's a story here. It was like intentional.
no, it's yet another one of Rose's delusional moments.
But for the people like watching, it was not an actual photo.
No, it's not. It's not a photo at all. It's someone drew it. I did approve it and say, yeah, that looks like me.
Yeah, you're like that's me.
But
the one moment you don't self-deprecate, you're like, oh, that is what I look like.
and everyone gets it done. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But so we have a music video coming out pretty soon for that one. I'm actually wrapping shooting that one in our scene next week. And then speaking of covers, I'm working now. My day job while I'm in Vegas, I've been arranging and writing a solo show that is just me at the mic. Just me singing my favorite songs,
Yeah. You're having your Susan Boyle moment. You have an orchestra.
I'm not having my Susan Boyle moment. No. It's a rose moment.
So yeah, are your clubs? If you have different.
No, everything's the same. Everything's the same. If I mean, we got rose, Gina, that's my socials.
I can find you there. And you guys can find me right here on YouTube. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And join us next time whenever we have somebody else.
You never know who it's going to be. You didn't even know if I was going to show up today.
No, I didn't. But a story for a different moment. Maybe early to see. But yeah, till then. Bye, guys.
Bye. Let's go.
You have like other girls.
I have like other girls. You know what? I'm going to say something a little controversial. There's something a little lacking to me about what Zendaya does on screen. Okay? That's it. I think she's incredibly gorgeous. I think she's come into her own. I think she's incredibly talented. Something about this role for her, the way that she seems to be the only one of the Fremen who doesn't do the accent. Where's her accent? You're smart and you get whatever you want and you're so amazing and everybody likes you or whatever. So I was like, okay, work. And then
They instilled that delusion at a very young age.
yes,
Okay.
they're the reason for all of this. So blame them, not me.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Lady Gaga came along in middle school, and I was like, oh my god, this is what I need to hear right now. And
This is what I want to see.
this is what I want to see. But yeah, that's kind of where it all stems from. Lady Gaga and my parents.
Yeah, because it was around that time, Lady Gaga middle school, that you started to realize your sexuality, or was it kind of later, your high school, maybe high school?
I don't know, I was being very early on.
You expressed it.
No.
Okay.
But
You weren't like this in middle school yet.
no, this comes after Washington.
Oh, okay. I wasn't too much of a into this outfit, but you did tell me you're like, oh, I forgot to have it. So I have to go get dropped off at the hotel and go around to get a hat made. And I was so confused, where kind of match to Vegas? It's just about to have something big. feather piece or something, and you show them and like, no, you said it for your
I decided to get a Yankee hat.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the Yankee hat is so, like, straight guy. I didn't want to do a snapback. I had to do, like, a fitted cap because that's just, like,
Yeah.
what you do. But I still look great.
My culture's not a costume.
My culture's not a costume.
It's not.
You're rating final and top hats. A cap.
An A cap. Gosh. Just 12 for the record. So make sure we're on the same page here. But the area you grew up in, like, was it a very like welcoming place for someone that was like openly gay? Because I know in East Orange, like the area of New Jersey you're from is like double the crime rate of like the whole state. Like, what kind of place was that for you growing up?
I lived in the, like, I guess you could say, like, the more suburban area of East Orange. Like,
You had money.
Yeah, we're, like, pretty privileged. I grew up in, like, the nicer part of East Orange. But no, East Orange is not. I still, like, it's, like, not the nice part of East Orange. So, like, growing up, like, it was very, like, just like, everybody, like, said, like, gay is a joke. And, like, oh, like, they're like, oh, you're boys or whatever. Like, so I was like, joke. I was like, yeah, I kind of feel like boys are kind of cute. Like, I never had, like, crushes on, like, I would watch Hannah Montana because, like, I had a crush on, like, Hannah Montana's, like, boyfriend. Hannah Montana.
Yeah, or you gonna say like her brother? It's like,
No, not Jackson.
Not Jackson. So, you still had standards.
Yeah, I had standards and I had faith. It just, you know, like, from a young age, I've been that girl.
Yeah, like your high school stuff, like, because like, you've always been very confident. So, like, is that how you approach like bullying, or you just kind of like kept to yourself? Like this person, like you were today, is it reminiscent of who you were back then, or did you go through like 180 after leaving school?
Yes and no. I feel like I was flamboyant in a different way. Like, now, someone sees me and be like, oh my god, you are, like, but it's like, in high school, it was kind of just like, oh, that's a little weird. But it's like, I kind of just amped it up once I left high school because I didn't have to, like, be surrounded by all these people. But honestly, I didn't come out of high school because I didn't want it to be, like, the thing. I would have been, like, the only other, like, out person in my high school, I think. So I didn't want it to be like, oh my god, like, the gay kid. And also, like, it was nobody's business, I feel, because then people are like, oh, like sexual things, and, like, you know, like, it's confirmed now, so they're, like, really, like, excluding and, like, staying away, you know? I feel like in high school my bullying wasn't, like, bullying. I was just being purposefully excluded from things.
Yeah, you aren't being like shoved in lockers and stuff. Okay. But with your town now, like East Orange, New Jersey, like you did make a splash for yourself after the fact because like you're listed in that city of like notable, like not notable alumni, notable people in the city with names such as Queen Latifah, Whitney Houston, Rick Hill. It's insane.
Yeah.
I don't agree for that. It's just like crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's wild. And, like, the city of East Orange, like, never even acknowledged it. Like, there was, like, no, like, mention of, like, me being on Drag Race by the city or anything.
To fair, they had Whitney Houston right now, so that, you know, okay.
Shows up late, dead. I mean, shows up late, dead. But also, I don't know, it's like, there's been people from, like, my high school who've had success that, like, have, like, the keys to the city. And it's like, they are, like, not even from East Orange. Because, like, they're East Orange, like, went to school. Like, they transferred it, like, junior year into Zoom, like, the television show, like a supporting character or whatever. It's like, they have, like, a key to the city, and they're, like, like, East Orange. And it's like, I've, like, went to school here my entire life. And I didn't even get, like, a mention, like, on a Facebook page, like, in the paper. Like, my high school didn't even acknowledge it. And I feel like it's weird because I was such, like, a staple in a lot of things that happened in my high school. And I felt like for them to not even acknowledge the fact that I'm on, like, an Emmy Award-winning, like, television show.
Yeah.
Like, there was no acknowledgement of that. I thought that was pretty shitty of them.
Yeah, because well, on top of being listed like notable people of the city, you are listed as notable alumni of the school. So like people on Wikipedia have acknowledged you, but the school itself hasn't. Is that something you also chalk to like discrimination, misogynoir, as you've referred to before?
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's definitely coming from them. and just like queerphobic. It's very interesting. And like in art school, where so many of art is based in queerness, that they kind of just leave the queerness out of the conversation.
Yep.
It's like, it's very strange and it's very weird because there have been people who have been greatly acknowledged for doing a lot less. Like, there was a girl in my high school, and she to her, but there was a girl in my high school who like went viral and she like designed her own prom dress. And like,
It's like the duct tape one or something.
no, it was like, the fabric, like she didn't sew it. Like, she just sketched it. And she like went viral because it was like so gorgeous. And like, she got this like fastest from school. And like, she's always like revered and she's like being invited to speak and like all of this stuff. And it's like, I don't even get a mention of the fact that like I'm probably one of the 5 people to come out of my school, probably 3 people out of my graduating class to actually do something of notoriety, and it's not even like mentioned. It's kind of like fucked up, I think.
It is. I didn't realize that being like excluded from like your, your school's page and stuff would mean so much to you. Like I'm someone that like I don't even refer to like the school I actually went to because I don't flex with them. I don't care about it. But with you, obviously, like this growing up in the city, in this town, this school, had a lot more effect on you.
It was just like it just was puzzling because it's like they're like when nature has like a key to Las Vegas. It's like there's some like, and this is gonna sound like I'm like trying to it's gonna sound like I'm not going down, but I'm fully not. There are so many other people from Las Vegas that I would think have a key to the city, but she has it, which I think that's like amazing. But for me, like to the city, where it's only like East Orange, Jersey, population's probably like 100,000 people. It's like less. It's like I can't even get like a write up in the newspaper that I was on Drag Race. Like that's like kind of like it's just shitty to like all the weird kids who like probably live there or like in the closet. I know I'm from East Orange, but East Orange is not recognizing the fact that queerness is coming from this place.
Yeah.
I just think it's like not even for me, it's for everybody else.
Outside point of view is someone that does like extensive research like, on the guests. Like there was like a lack of like local interview news. It's almost everyone I read about their hometown does have like a news page or their school has like a newsletter or something like that. But yeah, now you mention it, there was like a big gap. It's literally just like no mention of you at any point, and then all of a sudden there's like an interview, and that's it.
I have one write up in the Asbury Park Press. I don't live in Asbury Park. I had one write-up in NewJersey.com. That's it. And there are several other outlets in East Orange that I could have been acknowledged at. And nothing. Not even fucking post on the school's Instagram page that I was on Drag Race. This is so weird.
And so it's my detective skills then. Because again, I'm looking this up, and I'm like, I can't find shit.
No, it does not exist.
Okay, you were purposely excluded from all this stuff. So, damn. That's rough, buddy.
Yeah, it was bro, buddy. I'm not a kid, okay?
Oh, sorry. To me, that's
Sorry, it just...
good.
Oh my god, I hated that. I need to get out of this. I feel like I'm about to like Natalie Portman and the Black Swan. Like I'm gonna like leave this and I'm gonna be like I need a beer, like stat, and I'm gonna look in the mirror and I'm gonna have like a beard and like scruff and like I'm gonna be like what's going on?
You're walking a mile in my shoes right now because like what you just experienced, what I experience all the time. I've been doing drag for like 6-7 years now. I can't remember the last time I interacted with straight people in the wild outside like a drag function. And so just people coming up to me and ironically being like, oh, sup, bro, all the time. It's just like, it feels weird, you know? But this isn't great. But I digress. But it seems like a lot of confident people, especially people of color, are considered like arrogant and narcissistic by people. And while I don't condone that rhetoric, it did spawn one of the most iconic rants I've ever heard when someone on Twitter, in a Twitter space, referred to you as a narcissist, in which you said,
yeah, I am a narcissist. I am a narcissist. Thank you for realizing that. And me being a narcissist has me with the platform for you to come on my page and talk shit about me. I don't know who you are, Katie, and nobody else does. Please go fade into obscurity by using somebody else's profile for yours. I show my face. People know who I am. I don't know the woman or the man or the person behind your profile. And I don't think I ever will because you don't have the courage, the gall, or the balls to show yourself and reveal yourself. And you never will. So keep typing behind the keyboard, and I'll keep collecting checks. And if you want to say something to me, you can check my tour dates, and you can come by and get that. But until then, you will not get another piece of attention from me. Have a good night. Be blessed, and watch me next week and the week after that on Drag Race.
But with that spiel, how did it feel committing your first murder?
I'm surprised I didn't go to jail for it.
Honestly.
I got like a get out of jail free card, I guess. Because like everybody like loved it. And then it had like a weird resurgence like a couple months ago, and people were like, oh my god, remember this? And I'm like, here we go. But I don't know who that person is. There's speculation on the internet as to who that person is. But I don't know. I wouldn't know the person to like even confirm the speculation.
Because they're afraid to show their face. You probably never know who they are, who the man, the woman, or who the person behind that profile is.
Real.
Yeah, et cetera, et cetera. But what impressed me most about that one is like the off-the-cuff nature of it. Like everything you said was like just so perfect. It lined up. There was never any pauses, stops, and with the way you speak too, you don't use a word filler. I feel like Mike is less like a word filler and more of like a generational thing that we just put Mike in one of these.
That's literally just like what
But you don't use like filler words like and you know.
Oh yeah, no. I just say what like my brain is just like processing it like as something else. So I'm just saying what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm never like I say like because that's just like what it is.
Yeah.
But
You do like public speaking or anything like that? Your short stint
as an actor. I mean, not an actor. I was supposed to like musical theater, so like I know how to like public speak.
Yeah.
Or like I just like know how to public speak, I guess. But it's just like when I did the whole thing, like not when I did the whole thing, but like when the whole thing on Drag Race happened, when I like said we should go home and why, everybody was like, oh, that has to be pre-planned. There's no way that she could have just come up with that on the cusp. And I'm like, no, like I know how to form like a coherent sentence.
Like, well, to be fair, like almost everyone knows how to form a coherent sentence, but you form coherent paragraphs out of nowhere. Like with content, again, like it's not just filler words. Like you have whole like maybe your brain just operates differently.
I think it does. I read things really fast and I like process all the information really quick. Like I think I read like the entire Britney Spears book in like 2 hours, and I like can tell you like everything that happened in the book.
Can you see like a behavioral like therapist or something? You might actually have like a mental.
I don't think I should.
You worry what you might find out. Speaking of that TED Talk you had about why Lucy should go home, in hindsight, do you still stand by your decision about why she should go home and why the explanation you gave, or do you regret giving the entire terms and conditions in that moment?
I acknowledge this to her publicly on like our reunion, but I do think that the way I said it was a little harsh. Looking back, if somebody said this again, because she had erased me bad, but that's just how I felt. And I felt like in that moment, it would have been a bit of a cop-out, like some other people did, to say this person deserves to go home because they're big competition. Because if anything, them being the competition means that they're doing good, which would not be the grounds to be deserving to go home.
Yeah. So
I was thinking, I didn't want to go based off track record because I don't think that necessarily doing statistically the best at something, even though I do like to throw around that statistically I was second best in competition, I don't think that warrants you like needing to win. I think that being America's Next Track Superstar takes a little more than like winning all the challenges. It takes like something that I just felt like
je ne sais quoi.
Like the other competitors just had a little extra something that, in my opinion, Lucy, I did not see in Lucy at the time.
Well, she had a Taco Bell baby bump.
She did. And I think that's where it started. I was like, girl, you are pregnant. Beyonce was pregnant.
That baby in Lucy's bed, he said, now why am I in it?
No, I'm in it. You said I put me in it.
But with season 16 rolling around, the dust from season 15 is settling now. But what was it like for you whenever you were filming season 15 and like seeing all the fan reception, both the positive and the negative? Like, what was that experience like for you? Because I know you suffered a lot of the worst of it online.
It was very weird because I was working all the time. So a lot of people will think that like since you're working all the time, you have no downtime. You actually have a lot of moments of downtime. You're sitting in airports for hours. You're on planes for hours. You're like in like a hotel room, like because you land at like 8 in the morning sometimes. So you're just like sitting in a hotel until you have to get ready for the game that starts at like midnight. So there's a lot of time to just sit on your phone and look at everything everybody's saying. And while it didn't really affect me in ways where I was like really like emotionally impacted by it, it definitely was a little hard to like every week kind of just see everything you're doing being validated because I knew how amazing I did and I felt like I wasn't given like the flower, I guess like the flowers that I deserved because everybody skirted over all the good things I was doing and just focused on like the three like kind of bad things that I did during the season.
It's like I think you were giving your flowers. It's like for a lot of things you did, like being very, very referential, a lot of your fashions and stuff. But there was like a lot of people just shitting on you, essentially.
For like no reason.
Yeah. But like with that, you said it wasn't affecting you emotionally, but like how was it affecting you though? Like
it made me really introspective in like the wrong way. Like I was thinking a lot about what I was doing and I was thinking a lot about what I did on the show and I was kind of just like regretting like there was a moment where I was like, fuck, like why did I do this? Like this is like my dream. And I felt like there was like a split second where I was like, if I had not done this, maybe I would feel a lot better about myself right now. Like my drag was invalidated, people like invalidated my performance skills, people invalidated me as a person, people invalidated my experience growing up, people invalidated pretty much every part of me that could be invalidated. People called me ugly, people called me just like, how could you? But it's like, yeah, people were just like really shitty to me. I just did not know why. And I could see if I had gone in there like, oh, I'm gonna be like, this is how I'm gonna be. Whereas like, no, I literally just went in and I was like, I'm gonna be myself. And that's what it was. And to see people like hating me for being myself, which is like, that was hard. Because like, using everyone with my drag, like it's my art. I mean, it means a lot to me, but like, yeah, I don't care what you say about that. It's like people are attacking like my personal attributes, which really made me very hesitant. Even like some of the girls from my season, like when I got back from filming, I could tell that they didn't really like me, and I was just like really confused, and it kind of like hurt my feelings because I was just like, in my head, and I still stand by this. I didn't do anything to anyone, but walk in every day, ready for a day to happen, and know that I was gonna kill it. And I don't know if that kind of threw people off because of like the competitive setting or something. But I just did not know what I did to any of the girls to make them like not want to talk to me. And I felt like I was so like when I got back, like so eager to like talk to everyone. And it was kind of just like nobody really wanted to talk to me. Like in our group chat, like I felt like I was being ignored and like I just like was kind of just like, what did I do like wrong?
and that was also compounding with like again like all the things people were saying online, attacking your person, people that didn't even know you, so it just kind of added fuel to the fire.
Yeah, I just felt like for a lot of the time, even like especially like losing Drag Race is when it like really like when it started to get close to the finale. That's when like it really started to set in like, oh my god, people really do not like you. Like when I look at the numbers comparatively to like Team Lux, Team Mistress, Team Sasha, I was like dead last by like thousands in like every poll. Like I felt like I went into the finale feeling like the only person who wants me to win is myself and my family and like a little bit of the fan. Like